specific family kind of thing. But I guess it bothered me because he kind of played it as if no one's supersonically wealthy, but they're doing okay, and technically the Tasty Cake truck job wouldn't have been in his dad's repertoire because his parents owned 2 toy stores, Paul and Kid Toy and Furniture, in Delaware. This is eons ago. They sold it in the 60s. So the grandparents, I guess, sort of made some money off the sale of those. You know, that was at Price's Corner and Kennett Square. Kennett Square is a, you know, hoity-toity, you know. So my cousins and their dad and my aunt sort of lived off of that, the fruit of that tree, per se, the paternal side. And I'm, you know, pretty certain that Tasty Cake truck driving is some sort of Fantasia illusion of God knows where, but he wanted to put it out there for some reason. If he has some other agenda, like he's a secret spy for Russia, you know, trading secrets, then, you know, no one would be in the know, but people would be confused, like, did he drive a Tasty Cake truck? I'm pretty sure he didn't. He did. He must have been moonlighting or having an affair with someone with that one. So maybe he drove a Tasty, you know, unless he thought that he was handling people. I don't know. But it's, you know, it's arrogant, it's ignorant, arrogant, and uncool to do stuff like that, to create a story. Anyway, we're not happy with certain sections of the family that already were well-to-do. Things go well for them because their life is already pre-planned, and they might actually be puppets. But it's hard to explain. You have to experience something really bizarre to find out, oh, okay, you know, some people's lives, you know, kind of free ride-ish, and they get through unscathed, and everything looks perfect, and then they toss people to the curb who are victims of their worlds. There are actual victims who are like, what's wrong with me? I'm not everywhere. I have all these weird experiences. I have normal jobs that wind up flopping. The jobs and employers wind up flopping because weird things would happen. You know, I had to learn a whole different thing. Anyway. Anyway, I had to learn a whole different thing because of all their lives. It's a bow tie, this checkered thing on. Because of all their lives being lies on many levels. And they don't even know it. They do or don't know it. So, back to the original story, my world was turned upside down. In January of 2011, I was made to believe I'd be murdered. It is now considered attempted murder, whoever was part of the original orchestration of that first evening. My mom and Aunt's phone lines were cut in Jacksonville, Florida, so that when I called that night, I called the next day because it was wee hours in the morning. When I called, I got the disconnected jingle of doo-doo-doo, we're sorry, the phone number you're trying to reach has been disconnected. I called my sister first and then the police, but it took me a while to call and even to be able to talk because I was scared so badly that I couldn't hold my phone. My muscles went totally limp. That's what happens when you're terrorized. Your muscles go totally limp. You can't speak. So it took me, I was stunned, waiting, listening, trying to figure out what was going on in the building where I lived. It was really a row home turned to apartment, so it would be like, say someone was in the basement coming up, and I kept listening, and I was terrorized and convulsing. I finally called my sister. She convinced me to call police. Anyway, they didn't do much because of the, like, Anyway, it's hard to explain. I felt like they could have done more, but I was afraid to ask. It's hard to explain my mentality at the time. Sorry, I have an echo on my left ear here. I have to pop it out or whatever. And when I called my mom, I got the disconnected jingle. On top of that, it was like someone made a movie in the sky. It's really hard to explain. You could chalk some of it up to PTSD. I was shell-shocked out the ass. I am so not kidding. Oh, we got a T-bone. Oops. Is there rain coming in? Look, I brought my umbrella. Thank God. I wasn't sure what would happen today, and I'm glad I brought my umbrella. I almost didn't because it was sitting on the floor. So anyway, the gods let out the rain all of a sudden. Go this way. Oops, we'll just hang out. There's a little monsoon. In fact, a video of mine, short about a monsoon came up because we had a downpour. You know, like last year. I was like, oh, there's that monsoon short. And sure enough, we have a big let out of rain here. But point being, whatever happened, you know, it was really bad. I love the IHOP sign-in, so. My one thing is I'm hoping my phone is, I think I got it covered. I have a larger umbrella, so it should be covering the pocket. I have a dry bag, except for the outside pocket. That's one section that doesn't get really, like, protected. You have to put everything inside the bag for the dry bag to work. But anyway, making up stories for whatever reason because you think you're important and better than everyone else. Remember when Dad drove a Tasty Cake truck? It's not cool. It's arrogant. You know, I found a lot of people who have the means who didn't realize that someone who never bothered them in her entire life, who wound up in a really weird situation, they didn't really come forward as like, do you want to stay here? You know, or there's, you know, anyway, there's a whole recipe of things that went on, but I do know no one learned the capacity to truly understand what can happen in the world. Their lives have just sort of worked out, you know. So, anyway, glasses on the outside here by this desk. There we go, little downpour, a bucket of rain coming through the neighborhood there. Plus, a lot of jammed up traffic for some reason. I'm kind of, oh, there's a big protest on Saturday, noon to 3, hands off. It's a protest about women's rights and stuff like that. And it's expected to draw a big crowd. I don't know if there's anything else going on this weekend, but I'm wondering how many people are coming into Philly for it. Usually you just have your local protesters, plus they have Philly, Delaware, and there's supposed to be other states on the mix, on the list, but they're promoting it even through the Inquirer. That's a big deal. Often protesters have their own special inclusive groups, and they have a special forum, they have a special email critical mass list, and you have to get on those critical mass